Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go ahead and talk about aliens. I know, I never talk about aliens on this channel. Even when I was doing my scary stories, I don't think I did an alien one. I'm pretty sure I didn't. But there's been talk about aliens lately and the reaction is staggering. Also, there's a tragic story that I'm adding into today's video that I wanted to touch on because it's a part of my younger self back in the day, and just something that was just so meaningful to me and is really a tragic loss. So we're gonna have a bit of a mixed bag today. We're gonna hang out, we're gonna chat about it, and if that sounds cool, stick around because I'm about to get into it. But before I do, if you haven't already, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, come hang out on the channel. It'd be really great to have you here. That being said, let's get into today's video. So the fan is on, and it's going to be for all of summer because it's hot as balls in here. I can't help it with the ring light. Even with the AC, I have to have the fan. So you're going to hear it. I'm not going to mention it. Probably I'm going to try not to mention it in any more videos. We know it's going to happen. I just want you to be aware. It's not going anywhere. If you hear like a sound, it's just the fan, and I need it to live. If you see my hair blowing in the breeze, yeah, that's what's happening. So the fan is on. We're here together. It's summer. It's hot. And there are some crazy things happening. So let's go ahead and start with the U.S. Senate hearing. So on the 26th, I believe, some people with authority under oath sat down and talked about their experience with aliens.
Former intelligence officer David Grush testified he suspects the Pentagon's Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, or UAP office, is covering up a decades-long program.
Government is in possession of UAPs.
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
The Pentagon has denied Grush's claims.
I think it's far beyond actually our material science that we currently possess.
Congress signaled it'll ask federal agencies and the Pentagon to be more transparent.
Many people believe that we're withholding information from them.
Do you think anybody's mind was changed because of this?
I think they will when they see this. They see those men. They're not just some random people off the street.
There have been a lot of people covering this story since it went down, and I've seen, a lot of discussion on both sides. People that are, excited and just like can't believe it. It's, it's amazing, and have all these theories and stuff.
So does anyone else find it mildly concerning that we've basically all but confirmed that aliens exist in the past few years? You have all kinds of crazy footage coming out showing UFOs. You have pilots breaking their silence, talking about things they've seen with their eyes and seen on radar. You have all these hearings and testimonies going on in Congress and at the Pentagon and all these different things where they're finally disclosing all this alien related material. And yet nobody really seems to give a Maybe it's the fact that life is such a shit sandwich right now for a lot of people that the idea of aliens existing really seems like a nuisance. It's like, oh hey there E.T., you do exist and you have all this crazy advanced technology and you could just travel through the cosmos and go through light speed. Why don't you come on down to Earth, give us some political ideologies that might let us, not live from paycheck to paycheck, or that can keep our wages, in line with the cost of things. Maybe help us out with some of your alien civilization. It's like if you have the ability for interstellar travel, you definitely have some thoughts on how to control rent prices.
And then there are people that are just like, could care less. Honestly, it seems to be more people that can care less than there are people that are excited about it. There's a video where I'd seen a YouTuber talking about how if this had been brought up a handful of years ago, it probably would have been met with a lot more shock and awe. A lot more like surprise and Area 51 and X-Files, and they're out there, the truth is out there, and they're real. And I feel like the universe is vast. There are parts of the universe we may never see. There are parts of our own ocean we've never even seen. It's just like, there's only so much that we know. So would I be surprised to hear that there are extraterrestrials that exist? And no, I wouldn't. What does surprise me is that what came of it, much more so than people going, oh my gosh, were the memes. I mean, and I guess I can understand the current climate with, the economy and people just trying to live, like me, just trying to find a freaking job while the strike is going on, trying to keep the bills paid. People are they're just not bowled over by it. There have been people that have been speculating that, is this something that the government is trying to ease us into? Because it seems like every couple of months they'll come out and say, aliens, and then they'll go away, and then they'll come back and aliens. This is the first time I've seen Congress hold an actual hearing where people are coming forward under oath and talking about their experiences. And I do wonder, is it something that's like easing us into it so we're not completely terrified when it all comes out? Because they didn't show any physical proof. They're just saying, you know, we've experienced this, that, and the other. They say they have physical proof, but yet to see it. So I don't know. I still think that it is highly probable. I wouldn't be surprised, but that is one of the theories, just trying to like dip our toes into the alien, you know, around us deal happening. It's like, you know, it's okay, I'm already prepared to deal with you. Or is it like the government's way of saying, look over here, you know, aliens. That's another theory that's going around, is that people are thinking that, you know, the government's trying to distract us from something else. But I want to know your thoughts. What is your take on the latest alien theory, moment, experience? Tell me what you think about it, how you feel about it. Are you kind of like on the meh side, or do you think that there's a deeper meaning? Or are we being distracted? Are we being, you know, made to feel more comfortable with it so we can deal with the full onslaught of seeing the actual proof later on? Just curious your thoughts. Do you think it's actually kind of funny, like I do, that most people just really could care less at this particular moment in time because they have their own problems going on? It's really what it seems like. And I gotta tell you, like I said, some of those memes have got me freaking cracking up. So let me know your thoughts on the alien. So before I get into the next story, I want to talk about something that I've noticed. So I recently started doing this thing, considering that, you know, I'm not reviewing stuff, and it seemed like I've said in many videos, a way to like hang out with you guys that was like free. And of course, there are people that inspire me, that I watch, that I think are, you know, really talented and very successful at, you know, doing commentary, and I'm just kind of finding my way, and I do watch a lot of it, and I do stay updated, and this is just like, I'm just hanging out and chatting with you guys. I don't see myself as being like the most amazing commentary person, or, you know, being any kind of professional. I'm not a sleuth, I'm not a journalist, I'm just, you know, having a little tea moment with my friends here. That's basically what it is. But I like to have a different kind of transition in from video to video, and I realize that it's incredibly similar to Phil DeFranco. I was watching his video. I watch a lot of his videos, honestly, and I'm not a news person, like I said, but I'm looking and I'm like, oh crap, you know, my transitions are a lot like Phil DeFranco's, and I was actually cringing at my videos, and I felt incredibly embarrassed. I was like, damn, dude, here's my point. The reason why I'm bringing it up is that I am still kind of like finding my way. So if any of you notice that it is very like Phil DeFranco-esque, they do say that imitation is the highest form of flattery, but I'm not trying to steal that guy's vibe. It just seems like a natural transition from story to story. So I was watching like a little embarrassed, but I'm going to figure out my own way as I continue to do this, if I continue to do this, to transition from story to story. But meanwhile, I probably will keep the swipes because it's working. It aesthetically, to me, for a video, it looks cool, it looks purposeful and right, like it makes sense, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just wanted to mention that if any of you are watching and going,
oh, she's trying to be like Phil DeFranco.
I'm calling myself out before, you know, anyone may say it in the comments, because yeah, it is very similar, but at the same time, I haven't really figured out what else to do. So bear with me, and we'll figure something out. It'll be great. Suggestions, you know, leave them in the comments below. Also, I'm going to put something at the end of the video. Imitation, again, being the highest form of flattery, is reminiscent of irrelevant news. Because the next story I want to get into is a little heavy. I'm not going to do that in every video. For this one, considering the next story, I thought something cute at the end of the video would be a good idea. So just wanted to clarify the transitions and all that stuff, and how I noticed it and was like embarrassed for myself, and just talk to you guys about it. Again, leave comments below on what you think would be a good transition, and we'll work on it together. It'll be fun. So let's get into the next story. This next story is a sad one because it harkens back to a younger time for me, and it's just incredibly sad that we lost Sinead O'Connor on the 26th of July. She passed away. No details have been given on her passing. She did lose her 17-year-old son, Shane. He had taken his own life in 2022, and she had talked about that just days before her own passing. She was revisiting the loss of her son. So if you guys don't know, Sinead O'Connor was a huge singer. She did a remake of Prince's Nothing Compares to You, which I had playing on a freaking loop. I couldn't get enough of that song. I would play it over and over and over again. She was an incredibly beautiful woman, but she didn't want to follow the beauty standards. She wasn't trying to be Madonna. So even though she was just this stunning, beautiful woman, she took on the more punk aesthetic and had, you know, the shaved head and just kind of danced the beat of her own drum. She wanted to be her own individual person and do her own type of thing. She didn't want to be put into the pop genre, the box that we tend to have here in the States. In 1992, she was a guest on SNL, and after her performance, she had taken a picture of the Pope and tore it up. That was pretty much the beginning of her downfall, at least here in the States, because people didn't understand the message that she was trying to send.
Obviously, there was mixed feelings. You know, there was some were supportive and some were not supportive, and I understood those that weren't, because we in Ireland knew about this abuse issue in 1987, which reminds me another important point that you must make to anyone you're communicating with on this matter, and which again proves the Pope's letter to be dishonest. The Irish Church took out an insurance policy in 1987 to protect them against claims they foresaw would be being brought by victims. They then, that is a matter of record, it's in the Fringe report, they then sat back until 1994 and waited for the shit that hit the fan. So look, we knew in Ireland 10 years before anyone in America or Canada knew, so I understand that at the time I made that gesture, it was an abhorrent idea in America to suggest that a priest could be molesting a child, so I don't have any bad feelings or anything about it. I completely understand why people found that an abhorrent.
Another interview that I found interesting was her interaction that she had with Prince, and I just wanted to share a little bit of that with you guys.
Summoned me out because he was uncomfortable with the fact that I wasn't a protege of his. I had just recorded the song, and he was wanting me to be a protege of his. And he didn't ask, but he ordered that I don't swear. 5 o'clock in the morning, we're running around his car, and I'm spitting at him, and he's trying to punch me. He's got some chiller that he's trying to hit me with. We're running around his car, and I'm spitting across the car at him. Then I had to go ring someone's doorbell, which my father always told me to do if I got in a situation like that, So he was into some pretty dark drugs.
How did it end?
With me ringing the doorbell at his house, and he left.
Did you ever see or hear from him again?
No, I didn't. He had the problem was that my manager at the time, Steve Fernoli, who then died some years later, had been Prince's manager, and they were suing each other. So I think I got caught up somehow in the...
What an extraordinary story.
I'm not the only woman that he had to go at. There are plenty of women out there, if they're prepared to come out with their dad and admit that he had one of the girls in his band was in hospital with broken ribs for a very long time.
That was an interview that she had done 3 years ago on her interaction with Prince, and I was floored. So I never really did any kind of deep dive into Sinead O'Connor's life and history and all that stuff. All I ever really did was enjoy the music, because that's what I love the most about her. I mean, her beautiful face and her incredible voice. I remember trying to emulate sing like her, and never came even remotely close, but she was such an incredible talent, and her voice was just so powerful, and the song, it was beautiful. So to me, she just did an amazing rendition of a song, that Prince had created. I had no idea that there was any kind of lawsuits going on, that there was any kind of friction going on. I know that Prince did have a dark past. They kind of touch on it a little bit in Purple Rain, and I think that his upbringing and a lot of stuff kind of come into play for that. God rest, he has passed away as well, but some time ago actually. Not discounting that behavior at all, because I am not for that. It doesn't matter where you came from. It's better to get therapy, get help, and be a better person, but he did struggle. But Sinead also struggled with some problems with her mental health as well. One of the things that I found interesting was this interview that she did with People, and I'll put the little screenshot up so you guys can see, and it was in 2021, and it was about her memoir, and the singer-songwriter revealed that she stressed the importance of protecting her art and finances to her kids if she died. O'Connor told them that they should call her accountant before they call 911. When artists are dead, she said, their music is more valuable than when they're alive. Tupac has released way more albums since he passed than he ever did when he was alive. It's kind of gross what record companies do, she told People at the time. O'Connor, who died this week at age 56, endured various forms of abuse from her mother as a child and was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, post-traumatic stress syndrome, and borderline personality disorder. And she had tried to take her own life more than once and lost her own son to suicide in 2022. I was reading some posts that were on Twitter and on Instagram. In those comments were talking about what she'd done on SNL, and still to this day, bashing her for what she had, done. And yes, at the time it was very shocking. It was to get people's attention and focus on what was going on. That's really what it was about, but it was also a huge political statement. So yes, there are people that are still angry about what happened, and there are people that are grieving the loss of an incredible artist. I mean, she was only 56 years old. That's not much older than I am, and it really is a tragedy. It is a loss, and she tried to stand for something that she believed in, and I think at her core, she wanted to help people and to protect kids so that they didn't have to go through, you know, any kind of abuse like she had to suffer when she was a child. So I actually find it noble, and I still love her art and her music, and I will personally remember her always, and I'm sure many of us will. I just have a lot more respect and understanding for her now that I've really, you know, looked into what her life was really like. I didn't do that before. I really just enjoyed the music, honestly, like most people, you know. I don't often delve into the lives of entertainers. If it's something that I enjoy watching, like how we were talking about the Doja Cat thing, if it's music that I like, I like the music, I listen to it, I watch the program, I'm like, oh yeah, it was cool. I've never really been like that so much. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's interesting, actually, if you do find someone that you're interested in to know more about what they're, you know, really about. You'll never really know them unless you know them, but just to, you know, look into even entertainers who are no longer with us and find out things about, you know, their past and their struggles and what they went through, and it's all very, very interesting, the lives that people lead, even the non-famous, just regular ass, you know, hi, how you doing, people like me, you know, story times and things like that. I always find very interesting when people share about things that have, you know, gone on in their lives. It's knowing that you're not alone. It's knowing that there's someone out there that has had similar experiences to you, or you know, has overcome something that maybe you want to overcome. So depending on what it is, it can be very inspirational and it can be very enlightening. So those are things that I always find kind of interesting. It's not so much about following a famous person as it is just getting to know a person that, you know, you may care about or have an interest in. You know what I'm saying? It's just really opened my eyes a bit more to who she is, just behind the voice and the song that I love and remember so fondly. And it really just someone to be admired, and she will certainly be missed. So yeah, I just wanted to sit down and talk about it today. And the fact that people can really care less about aliens is kind of comical. And I do want to end this on a light note. That's, you know, like I was saying, so I am going to put something at the end that's cute and silly. And I guess, yeah, a nod to Irrelevant News. Not that I'm trying to be like Irrelevant News or Phil DeFranco or anything. Like I said, I couldn't. But I thought it'd be nice to do something a little cute at the end, just to kind of do a little lighthearted deal. But let me know what you think in the comments about today's stories, how you feel about it, if you knew who Sinead O'Connor was, and how you feel about aliens and all that stuff. Let's go ahead and chat about it. And that's going to do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching. As always, I really do appreciate it. And I will catch you all in the next one. Bye!